We've got a packed news week with Aliens Fireteam Elite 2, two brand new class showcases in the Marauder and the Duelist, some new enemy behaviour, and most importantly, we finally have a release date. My name is James, and welcome to Beyond 46. Before we get into it, a quick apology for the lack of news videos recently. Honestly, the information coming out has been pretty sparse, and I didn't want to bring you guys a video that was just retreading ground we've already covered. I'd rather wait until there's something genuinely worth talking about than padding out content for the sake of it. Fortunately, this week has delivered on that front, so let's get into it. Before I go into the Marauder showcase, one thing I did notice straight away in the Marauder video was the hangar shown at the start looks different from the Endeavours. Whether that's a different section of the ship or an entirely different location, it's hard to say at this point, but it did catch my eye. The information around the Endeavour being a part of this game has been confusing, but I fully trust this will be cleared up when we play. As for the class itself, the Marauder clearly is built for pure aggression. We're talking shoulder-mounted flamethrowers, guided missiles, mines. This kit is pushing even further into offensive territory than the Demolisher and the Lancer managed in AFE 1. In a lot of ways, the Marauder feels like a mashup of both those classes, borrowing the best of what each brought to the table and folding it into something with its own identity on top. Rampage is back, but it hasn't arrived unchanged. Movement speed appears to be one of the alterations that's been made to it, among others. A mobile Rampage ability is a very different proposition to what we had before, and I'm interested to see how that changes the rhythm of playing that ability in a live firefight. If you were a Demolisher or Lancer main in the original, the Marauder is going to feel quite similar, I'd imagine, just turned up a notch. Now onto the Duelist, and this showcase leads with the weapons first, which immediately tells you something about what this class is about. This is a gunplay class, full stop. The standout for me is the revolver rifle, which features a focused crosshair mechanic that immediately brought Resident Evil to mind. What I'm really curious about is whether that focus shot carries an increased crit chance, given that we now have crit chance and crit multiplier in the stat sheet this time around. A class built around precision shooting and crits could result in some genuinely devastating single target damage, something to watch closely once we get build information. The Stay on Target passive will be familiar to anyone who played Gunner in AFE 1. You're rewarded with bonus damage the more accurate your shots are. A classic high risk, high reward passive that suits a precision class perfectly, paired with what looks like a mobility passive that functions as a gap opener. The Duelist has the tools to both engage and disengage on its own terms, which is exactly what a class built around melting single targets needs. There's also what appears to be a brand new ability to AFE, a fragment and precision configuration that gives you a short-range shotgun blast and a heavy damage precision shot. Two very different tools in one slot, and I'm genuinely curious how the implementation works in practice. The flexibility there is super interesting. And while the Duelist does appear to be primarily a single target powerhouse, Cold Iron haven't left you without options for crowd control either. The cluster grenade pairs incredibly well with the fragment ability setup, I imagine, giving you a genuine room clearing option when the situation calls for it. And just a small thing, but we also got some new gameplay footage this week showing off enemy behavior in a bit more detail. The Harbinger morph is shown jumping onto a character, and up close it reads very similarly to the drone, deliberate but notably slower in its movements. The grapple focused nature of it is going to make a genuinely unsettling thing to have bearing down on you in a dark corridor. And also, the Warden, it appears to charge in a straight line when it commits to an attack, which suggests a well-timed dodge is going to be your best friend when that thing comes barreling at you. Easier said than done when you've got a full swarm around it, but it's good to know there's a readable pattern to work with. I was concerned that this thing was going to leap into the backline, but it seems it's just a charge. And now the big one, we finally have a release date, August 25th, one day after the anniversary of the original game's release, which is a lovely touch from Cold Iron. It's a summer release, and I'll be honest, they are cutting it close because this is essentially the last week of summer, but after everything we've seen over these past few weeks, we are finally getting it, and it's only a month away. That's everything for this week. 2 strong class showcases, some great enemy detail, and a date locked in the calendar. Is there anything from the showcases you want to dig into further? Drop it in the comments below, subscribe, like the video, hype it up, share it with your friends. I've been James, and I'll see you on the next deployment, Marine.